In this video, I will be discussing the author's perspective on his own book, All Quiet on the Western Front. To start, Erich Maria Remarque was born in Germany and enlisted into the army at the age of 18, along with his fellow friends and comrades. Throughout the war, he was completely traumatized and suffered severe trauma from his time served. Erich then attempted to showcase his trauma through a self-written paper that he thought would better portray his experiences rather than just telling his fellow people and friends, and ended up giving him and providing him a successful career with this great novel. An example of these traumatizing experiences that he had with not only himself but his friends was early on in the book that completely threw me off guard was, as he self-reflected himself through Paul. He narrated the story. His friend early on page 24 of the book, his name was Kimrich, and he was on his deathbed. Paul felt helpless as he watched his friend slowly die. He had a blue face, amputated leg, and was slowly but surely dying. He regretted not being there for him early on. If maybe he could have helped him, but he ended up dying, and he was severely traumatized, and the war had barely started for him, and he had much to come, which ended up did, as many of his friends died, along with even himself in the end. Another example of this that he had throughout the book was the theme of the cherry blossom tree. Now, it sounds ridiculous, but it does thoroughly reflect upon not only himself, but all the soldiers within the war. What this means is that the cherry blossom tree represents that Erich's life had not bloomed yet before going into the war, causing him to not know what he wanted to do in the end of his life. And after him focusing on war, causing him horrible mental illness and depression, he would then end up not knowing what to do outside of his life, as he saw no point, and he thought that nobody cared for him, and he just saw that there was no point of even living outside the war. This ended up making his career path very difficult, as he bounced around many jobs, such as like a piano instructor, magazine editor, and a tire manager, and all this different stuff, which ended up screwing himself, and he really didn't know what to do with his life. Though he was trying to portray this and reflect this over himself, he actually did a great job of showing this for a majority of the soldiers within the war that were then recognized as the lost generation, as they saw immense depression with all of them, as they didn't see a purpose within life and nothing to do with themselves outside of war.